Yo, what's up guys? This is my mid to high level money making guide. This guide is for those of you that are kind of approaching the high levels but aren't quite there yet, but also on the other hand don't really identify as like a mid level player. So hopefully in this guide there are some gold making methods that will satisfy your needs. Now let's jump straight into it. The first money making method is killing spiritual mages. You can kill between 240 and 300 an hour depending on how fast you are, and this should net you anywhere between 2 mil and 2.5 mil GP an hour. Doing so will also earn you between 210k and 260k XP an hour, and the main requirement in order to kill them is 83 Slayer. However, it's also recommended that you have 70 agility also. As for your gear, this is mainly what I recommend taking. Just take a couple of Super War Masters potions, take some Super Restores or just some prayer potions. You should just take these just in case you take too much damage and you just want some time to regenerate your health. Take some food just in case as well. And also the main thing that you want to take are these Alching runes. Just take some nature runes and some fire runes. You may need to take more than I have in my current inventory depending on how long you plan on being there. And also a couple of other useful items that you can take are an enhanced Excalibur, and this will just help you heal a lot just in case things get a bit rough, and also just another aura just in case you plan on being there for quite a while. As for your gear, the minimum armor that I'd recommend to use is Armadil. If you use anything less than that, then you might get hit too much. And also it's recommended to use range because they're weak to range. And also the minimum weapon that I'd recommend to use is a tier 80 weapon, and the easiest one to get would be a Royal Crossbow. Also it's worth noting, if you have 70 agility, then you need a Saradomin item. And that can just pretty much be any Saradomin item. The majority of them work. So for this example, I'm using a Saradomin stole, and you can just wear that in your necklace slot. There's also a Saradomin cloak that you can buy that can just go there. Or maybe you can just buy like a Saradomin coif and you can switch it out with your Armadil helmet. And basically what this does, if you don't already know, is that it stops all the monsters in the Saradomin area from attacking you. So if you don't have a Saradomin item or a next item equipped, then they will all be aggressive. And that's obviously not what you want. You just want to focus on the spiritual mages. And also something that I forgot to mention is that these spiritual mages are located in the God Wars dungeon. So if you want to do this method, you need access to that God Wars dungeon. So make your way to the God Wars dungeon, and then once you get in there, you want to head east. And then once you head east, just climb this rocky wall down here, and then you will be in the Saradomin encampment. Like I said earlier, all these monsters here, if you have a Saradomin item or a next item, will not be aggressive. So once you're here, just begin attacking these Saradomin mages, and they should be relatively easy to kill. They have a really low defense level, so you'll be able to hit them like really easily. And like I said earlier, if things get a bit rough or like you're taking too much damage, just turn on your protect or deflect from mage spell, and then just try and heal up with these defensive abilities. Regenerate is good, and also Ice Asylum helps a lot as well. Also the main items that you want to be alching are the battle staffs and the rune longswords. If you want to, you can just put the high alch spell on your action bar. That's what I did. It just makes things a lot easier. Then you can just press the button that you assigned it to and alch the items a lot easier. Also, almost forgot to mention this, if you don't have 70 agility, then you can go to the Zamorak area, which is north as soon as you get into the God Wars dungeon. Just bear in mind, if you're going to go kill them there, instead of bringing a Saradomin item, bring a Zamorak item. Moving on to something that makes us more or less a similar amount of money, and that is Frost Dragons. You'll be able to kill between 180 and 250 per hour depending on your levels and how fast you are, and from doing so you should make around 2 mil to 2.6 mil an hour. You will also be getting between 240k and 320k XP an hour, and the main requirement in order to do this is 85 Dungeoneering, and it's also very recommended that you have 85 Herblore as well. Now this is more or less what your gear should look like. I have a couple of War Masters potions in there. You can just buy these off the Grand Exchange, and then you need 85 Herblore to make these super anti-fires. They're definitely really worth getting because you'll be taking a lot less damage from the Frost Dragons if you decide to use these, so obviously taking a lot less damage helps. Got some Super Restore flasks in there. You can just use like regular prayer potions if you want to. Got some food in there just in case as well. And also you want to be taking some magic notepaper so you can pick up the Frost Dragon bones. You can take an extra aura if you plan on just staying there for quite a while. And if you have a Tokuzo, you can take that as well so you can teleport to the bank very quickly. As for the gear, the minimum I would recommend is tier 70. So as you can see right now, I have full bandos on. And also the weapon that I recommend using are stabbing weapons. And that is because Frost Dragons are weak to stab attacks. So some examples of weapons that use stab attacks are, for example, this one, the Zamorakian Spear. And that goes for all spears. Chaotic Rapiers use stab attacks. The Blade of Nymora and Avaris also do. And those are pretty much the three that I recommend. So like spears, rapiers, and the Blade of Nymora and Avaris. And as for your cape, amulet, and ring, just wear the best ones that you can. It shouldn't really make too much of a difference. And in your pocket slot, if you have a Charming Imp, you can wear that here to pick up charms a lot easier. Or if you have the upgraded Bone Crusher, then that will be very useful here as well. If you don't know what the upgraded Bone Crusher does, it basically just picks up the bones for you. So it's basically like a Summoning Imp but for bones, and that will just save you from having to run around the place just picking up all the bones. So how do you get there? Well, there are two main ways. The first one is to use this fairy ring. Just enter the code AIQ and teleport there, and it should teleport you to Mudskipper Point. Then from there, just run a little bit north to this like little mound thing, and there should be a trap door in the middle of that, and just climb down. Another way of getting there is just to teleport to the Port Sarim lodestone and then just run south from there. And then once you're down there, just follow the path that I'm taking now to the resource dungeon and then enter it. And then that's pretty much it. The frost dragons are relatively quite easy to kill. Obviously just make sure if you are using super anti-fires that you have them active at all times. And also if you're wondering what deflect or protect prayer to use, the frost dragons will always start with one combat style and then stick with that one combat style throughout the whole fight. So just try and determine which combat style they're going to use at the beginning of the fight and then use that prayer. Also the frost dragons do have like this little special ability, and you should be able to see quite clearly when the ability happens because this blue orb will start circling the frost dragon. Basically when it starts doing that, do not attack the frost dragon, because if you do just take a look at what's happening to me on screen, basically you'll take 80% of any damage that you would have dealt to it. And also it's worth mentioning that the frost dragon will be invulnerable during this time. And yeah, that's pretty much all you have to look out for. I'd recommend killing a few frost dragons and then picking up the bones afterwards. Obviously don't leave it long enough for the bones to disappear, and then just note all the bones at once with your magic notepaper. Now obviously if you have access to a yak and you want to use that, then feel free to do so. Only reason I haven't mentioned this is because it's obviously a mid to high level guide, and if you're mid to high level then I don't expect you to have a yak, but you never know, maybe you're like high summoning and mid level combat. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Next up we have Superheating Runite Ore. You'll be able to focus between 2200 bars and 2400 bars depending on how focused you are, and doing so will net you anywhere between 2.6 mil and 2.8 mil an hour. And also whilst doing this, you'll be getting a crap ton of XP as well. You'll be getting 130k magic XP and 120k smithing XP. This is really good, especially in the smithing case, because the majority of the time smithing is like regarded as an expensive skill. However, this way you can kind of like cheat the system and make a lot of money out of it. However, in order to do this method, you actually do need a relatively high smithing level already, and the smithing level that you need is 85. You also need 43 magic, 35 dungeoneering, and 35 mining. And the reason you need 35 dungeoneering and 35 mining is to purchase this, the coal bag. And what it does is it holds 81 coal. It should be relatively easy to get. It only costs 4,000 dungeoneering tokens. So once you get this, you will be good to go. So head to any bank, and you also want to make sure that you're equipping a fire staff. This is because the super item spell requires fire runes in order to use, so you might as well just save some money and use this fire staff. And also you want to set out your inventory exactly like I have it here. You want to have your coal bag and 11 nature runes. You also want to have 11 runite ore, and then you just want to fill up the rest with coal. Then what you want to do is you want to save this as a preset. So just go to one of your presets, click on save, click confirm, and then click yes. And then at the top here, you either want to make sure that the preset that you just made is either set to quick preset 1 or quick preset 2. I currently have mine set to quick preset 2, as you can see. So whenever I go into my bank, I can just press the number 2 and it will withdraw this inventory. Also, what you want to do is you want to go to the spell tab, go to skilling, and you want to drag the super item spell onto your action bar like I have right here. And then just assign it to whatever key feels comfortable for you. For me, I'm using R. And then go into your bank, fill up your coal bag, and then start using the super item spell on the runite ore. You can do it pretty quickly. I like to just like spam it every second or so, and then once it's time to bank again, open up your bank, fill up your coal bag first, and then press whatever number you assign that preset to. And then after you've got the inventory again, just carry on superheating the runite ore. And then that's pretty much it. It's just a simple grind. It's quite click intensive, so you kind of do have to be paying attention like the whole time. Also, one thing to point out is that doing this, you will be using around 20,000 coal an hour. However, there is a limit on how much coal you can buy. You can only buy 25,000 coal every 4 hours. So if I were you, I'd put up an offer for a lot of coal before you start doing this, at least if you plan on doing it for more than 1 hour. However, if you only plan on doing it like 1 hour at a time, then you shouldn't have any problems. Next up, we have a money making method that has been really enhanced lately because of the Shattered Worlds update. And that method is crafting mist runes. You can make 130 to 135 trips to the altar per hour, and doing so will net you a massive 5.5 mil to 6 mil an hour. Also, by doing this, you'll be making around 55,000 to 60,000 runecrafting XP an hour, and in order to do this method, you need 75 runecrafting and 82 magic. In order to do this effectively, you are going to need these pouches. The small pouch holds 3 essence, the medium one holds 6, large holds 9, and then the giant one holds 12. The small pouch is obtained from the Mage of Zamorak, that's just north of Edgeville in the wilderness. After you complete the Abyss mini quest, he'll give you the small pouch, and then the rest of the pouches are obtained from Wizard Korvac in the Runecrafting Guild. So make sure you get these because these will greatly increase your gold per hour. Now how do you do this? Well, you want to set up your inventory like myself. You want to have all the pouches at the top, and you also want to withdraw 10 astral runes and 200 air runes. You're not going to be using all these runes, you're only going to be using 2 astral runes and like 52 air runes, I believe. But I always like to withdraw just a bit more than I need just in case. And as for the rest of your inventory, you just want it to be full of pure essence. As for what you're wearing, and this is very important, you want to be wearing a wicked hood, and you want to have a water talisman in there. You want to be wearing a binding necklace because this gives you a 100% success rate when you're making combination runes. Each of these binding necklaces have 15 charges, so that will will last for 15 trips. So make sure you have enough in your bank. If you do this effectively, then you're going to need around 9 an hour. And also make sure you pay attention to whenever it degrades. And finally, if you have one of these, you want to be wearing a mystical staff. And this staff was gained from the Build a Fair event. You can't gain it in the event that's going on now, which is the Spring Fair. It was in the Building the Fair part that you actually gain this staff. So I'm assuming a lot of you have it. It's going to come in very useful here. And the reason it's very useful is because it provides unlimited fire, water, and earth runes. So the staff will just save you on using any of the water runes. However, if you don't have one of these, then you can just buy a Steam Battle Staff off the Grand Exchange. It's only like 25k. So just wield all the things I mentioned and then you should be good to go. Now I'm going to show you how to bank effectively. So what you want to do first of all is make a bank preset. Just assign it to any of the 2 quick presets that you have and then press save. So now whenever you come to bank, you can just press 1 or 2 and then this will be the inventory that it comes out with. So obviously this will save a lot of time when you're banking, but just remember that the quick presets don't fill up your rune pouches. So this is the method that I use to bank effectively whenever I'm coming back from a trip. Let's start off with no rune essence in my inventory. Let's just imagine I'm coming back from a trip. Click on the bank, press my quick preset. And then as you can see at the bottom, I have all my pouches on my action bar. If you don't know how to get them on there, all you have to do is click and drag them from your inventory. And I've assigned them to numbers 1 to 4. So that way I can just press the buttons 1 to 4 very quickly. And then that's exactly what I do. I press 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously a bit faster than that when I'm actually doing the method. You can just press them all at once and then they'll all be filled up at once. And then I go back into my bank. And then this is what you want to remember to do. You want to go onto your giant pouch, right click it and press fill. And you want to do this because the rune essence in your inventory will not have filled up the giant pouch completely. And then you just want to press your quick preset once again. And there you go. All your pouches will be filled up and all your pure essence will be in your inventory too. And then once all that's done, you're ready. Just go to the altar that's to the west. You can just click on the mysterious runes. And then usually what I like to do as soon as I get in here, I like to use the magic imbue spell. Once again, as you can see, I've dragged it down to my action bar so it's easier to press. And what this does is it just lets you make combination runes without needing a talisman. And this is why you need the astral runes in your inventory and why the mystical staff is so useful, because apart from the astral runes, it also requires 7 fire runes and 7 magic runes in order to use. So what you want to do once you're in here, just press on that spell and then use your air runes on the altar. And there you go, you would have made 52 mist runes if you did this properly. And then all you have to do is run back to the bank. And then once you get here, you just want to do preset, 1, 2, 3, 4, bank, fill up giant pouch, preset, back to the altar. Also, after 9 trips, you'll realize that your giant pouch has gone a bit of a shade darker. This means that it started to degrade. So this means that you're going to have to repair it for it to store all the essence again. Now you have 2 options on the way that you want to do this. You can either use the NPC contact spell, or you can use the repair rune pouch spell that is obtained from Livid Farm. So if you've done enough Livid Farm and have unlocked this spell, I highly recommend using this one, because if you do end up using this one, then that means that your giant pouch will be able to last for 50 trips instead of 9. But let's just say that you are going to be using NPC contact. What I like to do is just put it on my action bar once again so I can just use it very easily. And also you want to make another bank preset. So let's say that you set your first one to number 2. This is the one that you want to set to number 1. You want to have both quick presets available. And in this preset, all you have to do is keep your astral runes and your air runes in your inventory, and also just have an extra cosmic rune in there. And you want to make sure that you're creating this preset with the degraded giant pouch, because if you create it with the normal one, then it won't get withdrawn when you actually click on the preset. So just make that preset, make sure you save all of the settings, and then once you see that your giant pouch has been degraded, a very easy way to see this is that when you withdraw your original preset, it won't be in your inventory. Then just go back into your bank, click on the new preset that you loaded up, and then use your NPC contact spell. And just in case you don't know who to contact, just scroll down a bit to the Dark Mage on the right hand side. Your guy will do a quick animation of trying to contact him, and then just use option 2 whenever you get a chance to use an option. And then after that, just load up your bank again and load the original preset, and you should be all good to go. Also, instead, if you're using the repair rune pouch spell, then instead of withdrawing just 1 cosmic rune in your preset, make sure you withdraw 1 cosmic rune and 1 lore rune. Now this is me just timing it to see how many trips that I could actually do in 1 hour. But before I talk about that, just look at this quick tip. After you've used your air rune on the altar, what you want to do is you just want to spam the portal. Because take a look at what happens. The game like kind of bugs out because you're like mid animation, but then you go through the portal anyway. I think it's just like on your screen it's showing you the animation, but in fact I think it just does it automatically, and then your guy kind of like runs to the portal, but you can't actually see that. It's kind of like after you've used a lodestone. I'm not sure if any of you have experienced this, but sometimes when I'm teleporting back to Prif, I just like click on a bank and it still says I'm standing in the middle of where the lodestone is, even though I have my bank up. And then only a few seconds later will my guy do the animation of him running to the bank, but it's like really super fast. I'm assuming it's kind of like that, but anyway, it's just just a good trick to use that will save a couple of seconds per trip every time. And as you can see, doing these trips is really fast. In the slide earlier, I said that you can do like 130 to 135 every single hour. However, in the clips that you're seeing now, I did 5 trips within 2 minutes. So that means if I went at this speed throughout the whole hour, then I could have got up to like 150 trips an hour. The only reason I put it a little bit less is just because obviously because of mistakes. Maybe you accidentally didn't fill up the giant pouch, or maybe you just had to go like AFK for a minute or so. And also I factored in the time that it takes to repair your pouches. So just bear in mind that if you actually do this fully efficiently for the whole hour, then you could actually do around 145 to 150 trips in 1 hour. Also, I feel like I have to mention this. I know this isn't a mid to high level, but if you have 93 summoning, then you can use an Abyssal Titan. And what this does is it allows you to hold 20 more essence in your summoning familiar. So if you have 93 summoning, I would definitely recommend using it. You have the potential here to make a lot more money per hour. And if you do use this, then the way you bank and the way your presets are set up are going to change just a tiny bit. Your main inventory preset is going to remain exactly the same. You're going to have the 4 pouches at the top, your astral runes, air runes, and then your pure essence. However, at the bottom, you can see the Beast of Burden preset is there. What you want to do is you want to fill up your Beast of Burden with pure essence and then click save and then save the preset. So this summoning familiar in particular can hold 20 essence, and also if you have 62 summoning, you can use the Abyssal Lurker. The Abyssal Lurker can also hold some essence for you, but this one can only hold 12. So if you have 62 summoning or 93 summoning, then I highly recommend using those. But anyway, you want to make sure that your quick presets are set to your main inventory preset and the Beast of Burden preset. So as you can see, my main preset here is ticked and the Beast of Burden one is ticked down here. This means that the preset that you made in order to repair your rune pouches is going to have to go. So you're just going to have to withdraw the Cosmic Rune or Cosmic Rune and Law Rune manually, but that's okay because you'll be making a lot more money from doing this anyway with a familiar. So how does this change your banking? Well, when you get to the bank, you want to open up your bank, load your inventory preset, 1, 2, 3, 4, load up your bank again, fill the giant pouch, inventory preset, load up your bank again, summoning familiar preset. And then that's it, you'll be ready to go to the rune altar to make more runes. And as you can see from this, you'll be getting 72 mist runes per trip instead of 52. So with this setup and familiar, you have the potential to make around 8 mil an hour. Now I'm not sure how long this money making method is going to be good for, because I'm sure mist runes are going to crash in price, mainly because Shattered Worlds is new and the bank is new as well, and this has just become so much easier to make them. So if I were you, I'd expect mist runes to dip in price over the next few weeks. Now there are also 2 other runes that are made easier by the Shattered Worlds bank being there now. The first one are mod runes, and once again you can do 130 to 135 trips an hour. Making these, you'll make around 4.5 mil to 4.8 mil GP an hour. Doing so, you'll gain around 65,000 runecrafting XP an hour. Once again, you need 75 runecrafting for the giant pouch and 82 magic. Or if you have the 93 summoning for the Abyssal Titan and you decide to use it, you'll get anywhere from 6.3 mil to 6.6 mil GP an hour and around 90,000 runecrafting XP an hour. Now if you want to craft mod runes, all you have to do is the exact same as I explained for the mist runes, except instead of having the air runes in your inventory, you want to have earth runes there instead. That's literally the only difference. You do everything else exactly the same. So instead of having those 200 air runes there, just swap them out for the 200 earth runes. And the other rune that you can make there are the steam runes. Making these, you'll make anywhere between 4.3 mil and 4.6 mil an hour, and you should expect to get around 66k runecrafting XP an hour. The requirements are the same as before, and once again, if you use an Abyssal Titan, you'll make anywhere between 6 mil and 6.2 mil GP an hour, and this one nets you the most runecrafting XP out of all of them, which is 92,000 XP an hour. And the rune that this one requires in order to make are fire runes. So instead of having those air or earth runes there, just swap them out with some fire runes. Once again, I just wanted to say, please bear in mind that the prices of these runes are probably going to drop in the very near future. I'm assuming a lot of people have already been making runes because this method has been known for like a week or so. So I'm sure the rune prices are already dropping, but I'm sure that even if they drop like quite a lot, you'll still be able to make a decent amount of money off of these. But anyways guys, that is it. That is the end of this money making guide. I hope that some, if not the majority of the methods in here are going to help you. And as always, thank you for watching, subscribe if you're new, and peace.